Hello, welcome to the Azure Security Data Lake setup. The first step in setting up our Azure Security Data Lake is setting up the actual storage account, which is going to be an Azure Data Lake storage account Gen 2. This storage account is where you land your data for further analysis and use cases. So in Azure, the first step to set this up is going to Azure, Storage Accounts, and we want to create a storage account. Let's make sure we have the right resource group selected. And let's also choose a globally unique storage account name. That means that no one else should have taken this storage account name previously. So let's make sure we come up with a unique name. Might be harder than we thought. There we go. That one's not taken. Let's choose a region that we're later going to run our compute on top of. The reason for that is we want to be careful what region we choose, since whenever we access that data, we have to go to that region to access the data. In our case, we'll later be deploying compute clusters in the same region as East US, so we're choosing East US. Then we choose performance tiers, and in our case, we're going with standard, and redundancy, which I'm going to choose as local. Let's go to advanced. Now, this is the one last setting that we have to focus on here for the data lake, which is a hierarchical namespace. This setting is what makes the storage account a data lake Gen 2. There are other settings related to network access, data protection, encryption, and so on. In our case, I'm going to go to review and create, but make sure there's no other settings that you need for your organization. Now we wait for Azure to create the storage account. Let's go to the resource. And here's our data lake. Now, we can't just start landing data in the lake as it is. We need to create some containers. In this case, we want containers to be unique to each log type and sender. So for example, if I have a firewall, let's say I have Azure firewalls, and each Azure firewall has different log types. In our case, let's say Azure, we want to collect traffic logs in the traffic container, the container there, and threat logs in the threat container. And so we would create a container for each log type and sender. This way, when we later query, we can have different logical containers to limit our queries by and make sure we're querying with the right schema that's in the storage account. Congratulations, you've now set up your data lake, and I'll see you in the